Hi, good evening. Welcome back. It's Monday and the 8th, and it's been a busy day here in the studio. We've got a great deal of news to cover, and in fact, a meth arrest very early this morning involving a local father and daughter in the same vehicle will be held off until tomorrow's program, as we have news tonight in regards to the trial, which is still set to take place beginning early tomorrow morning in London, Kentucky. On that front, some more motions to be filed and orders subsequently rendered or handed down thereafter by the federal court. We'll cover those in just a few moments. And as I referred to it months ago, we've been anxiously awaiting to see the information contained there in the Magoffin County audit, which is now official and has been released. And where's the Big Mac truck? A burning question by the Kentucky State Auditor and federal investigators, as the same piece of equipment is tied to both fronts at this time, as we mentioned and I referred to, I believe, some months ago. We'll talk about that, a fatality involving a motorcycle accident, 2 others seriously and maybe even critically injured, I do believe, in Morgan County over the course of the weekend, and a whole lot of other news and information. We'll go ahead and pick it up right now with motions and getting you up to date on a report that I aired towards the latter part of last week. It was then that we knew that Magoffin County Court Clerk Renee Arnett Shepard had made a motion to indicate that she would plead the Fifth Amendment and that she would also use the spousal privilege in response to being called to testify against the defendants in the election fraud trial beginning tomorrow, one of those, of course, including her husband. As of airtime last Friday, we had her motion to quash that subpoena and the response of the federal government and authorities investigating that case. Now, as of this morning, we have an order for that motion. Then we had a subsequent motion filed on behalf of her husband, Larry Shepard, and moments later, another motion. All this is a series of events taking place up before a trial that looks to still be set to begin tomorrow morning. We'll begin with the order the judge returned in regards to Renee Shepard's motion to quash her subpoena. Off by recognizing Renee Shepard's motion to quash her subpoena, requiring her to testify against all the defendants, including her husband, Larry Shepard. She was moving to quash the subpoena based on the spousal privilege, and additionally she contended that the answer she may be required to give may subject herself to criminal liability, and she also moved to quash the subpoena based on her right against self-incrimination under the Fifth Amendment. And as we already knew last week, the United States responded to that motion, indicating that Mrs. Shepard has been subpoenaed in her capacity as the Magoffin County Court Clerk, and its questions will relate to general election procedures in Magoffin County, and therefore they do not implicate either privilege. Specifically, the government intends to have Ms. Shepard authenticate documents from the clerk's office, inform the jury of the nature of the forms, and to describe the unwritten policies and procedures of the clerk's office during elections. As for the order, it states that a blanket self-determination of possible incrimination is not a valid assertion under the Fifth Amendment. Further, given the narrow scope of the government's inquiry, there appears to be no danger of self-incrimination, and Mrs. Shepard's argument that there are other witnesses that could testify regarding the same subject matter is unpersuasive. The court also said the adverse spousal testimony privilege protects one spouse from being forced to testify against another, and here the government has made clear that its questioning of Mrs. Shepard will be limited to routine matters at the county clerk's office, and therefore the court ordered her motion to quash as denied. Federal documents show that just moments after that order was posted, another motion was filed, this on behalf of Larry Shepard, for similar circumstances. Basically, Larry Shepard was moving the court to quash the subpoena served on his wife Renee because requiring her to testify would be more prejudicial than probative, especially, he contends, since the evidence could be obtained from numerous other sources and because it would violate the marital privilege. He argued in his motion, once again just filed this morning, that in Renee's motion to quash her subpoena, she indicated that she may choose to exercise her Fifth Amendment right not to answer certain questions posed by the prosecutor. And whether his wife invokes her Fifth Amendment privilege or not, Mr. Shepard would suffer significant harm. If Mrs. Shepard testifies only to the process and procedures of the election and does not defend her husband, the jury will make inferences as to her silence on that matter. The matter, they say, is severely worsened if she pleads the Fifth Amendment. In turn, his wife taking the stand will prejudice Larry Shepard regardless of what she testifies to or not. And Larry's argument still contended that there were 119 other deputy clerks from around the state of Kentucky which could answer the questions that the state would pose on the absentee voting process. And his attorneys also stated on Larry's behalf that he would invoke his spousal privilege under federal rules in order to prevent the government from forcing his wife to testify against him, saying instead they're asking this court to set aside the spousal privilege because Renee Shepard is the only one who can attest to the idiosyncrasies and local unwritten practices of Magoffin County elections. They contend that they're making this broad statement without providing a single question that can only be answered by the defendant's wife and shows the uniqueness of Magoffin County elections. No sooner than Larry Shepard's motion had been filed, an order was returned by the court pertaining to Larry's motion to quash the subpoena requiring his wife, Renee, to testify against him. The court notes that Renee Shepard made a similar motion, which the court had already denied, and the court also noted it is well established that the witness's spouse possesses the marital privilege. Therefore, the privilege is not Larry Shepard's to assert, and he doesn't have the standing to challenge the subpoena on that basis. And therefore, his motion, too, was denied as of today. And therefore, it seems to indicate that the trial will go on as scheduled beginning tomorrow morning with jury selection at 9 o'clock in London. So as of now, it looks like both Shepards will be called to the stand and be held to testify sometime this week. I've also learned that the federal authorities have set to call at least a dozen witnesses on their behalf, and of course we believe there will be several other rebuttal witnesses called on behalf of the defendants as well. In regards to that trial, it is still set to begin at 9 o'clock in the morning at London. The first day is always completely unpredictable. Jury selection will begin in the morning. That might take an hour. It could take hours. It could take the entire day. We will have a team there in the courtroom throughout the entire trial. We'll be getting you up to date each and every evening with all the ongoings that have taken place and as much testimony as we can relay from the London location to here and get on in a timely fashion for you. So you'll want to be sure and join us for the rest of this week, but we would certainly hope you would do so any week. With that said, when I come back, an auditor's report scathing of the Magoffin County Fiscal Court, we'll go over a few of those references therein in just a few seconds.
For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications.
Auditor of Public Accounts Mike Harmon officially released as of today through his office a press release and the subsequent audits for Magoffin County and the Fiscal Court for 2 years, that being 2013 and 2014. Both have a complete list of deficiencies and other items that were brought to the attention of the court, and at least one brought to the attention of the state police and possibly other investigative authorities. Some of the items were procedural, for which the county did make a response to. Some, however, appear to be much more serious in nature. The county treasurer not monitoring disbursements, which caused total budgeted appropriations to be overspent. The county's administrative code not addressing commuting mileage of the personal use of a county vehicle driven by the judge executive, as well as gravel, the fiscal court not having adequate internal controls over a gravel inventory, a significant gravel inventory. And where's the Mack truck? A question asked by the state auditor as well as federal authorities in the trial that starts this week. The fiscal court not having insurance on a 2000 Mack truck that the auditor could simply not find anywhere during a physical inventory test. Auditor Mike Harmon released Magoffin County Fiscal Court audits for 2 years, consecutive years of 2013 and 2014, both in which there were numerous items from those 2 consecutive years, items that were basically of the same deficiency repeated for those 2 years. Improper segregation of duties within the financial segment of the county judge's office were pointed out due to only one person being responsible for all the records of the incoming funds and reimbursements. Shortages, however, in several departments were highlighted, and in one fiscal year totaled about $750,000. The Road Fund, LGEA Fund, Solid Waste Fund, and 911 Fund amounts of shortages: $530,000, $117,000, $40,000, $37,000. County Treasurer Kyla Keaton responded that the money was actually there, but expenses in those areas went above what was approved for the fiscal year. Due to emergencies, she referred to the March 2012 tornado, saying that flooding and bad weather
were the blame. Keaton stated that she and Judge Hardin made the determination to proceed with those expenditures rather than wait the 2 weeks or more for the proper channels to be met, and that would have allowed for budget amendments. However, the auditor's office countered that the tornado occurred in March of 2012, which was 4 months prior to the beginning of the court's fiscal year and 16 months prior to the end of the fiscal year of 2013. Events that took place during the fiscal year 2012, the auditor's office said, would have had no bearing on the county's failure to comply with the statutes in the fiscal year 2013. It was pointed out that while there was some attempt to keep proper records of gravel purchased by the county, others were not. It appears some logs were known to show where the gravel was used, yet there were no records kept showing how much gravel was actually purchased. The auditor stated that the concern with the lack of controls over purchase, receipt, storage, and distribution of those assets, without adequate controls in place over the county's assets, the risk of misappropriation and fraud is high. Gravel for 2012 was $109,000 for the county. The following year, it jumped over 130% to a total of $256,000, and the next year, it went up to $315,000. Another point in question was the personal use of a county vehicle by Judge Executive Hardin. The auditor found no language that the county allowed for private use. Had the county provided the vehicle for county purposes, it was required that strict travel, mileage, and expense logs be maintained. If the judge was allowed to have personal use of the vehicle, he was still required by law to have to account for all expenses, mileage, fuel, etc., which would have to be considered as income for him, and as such would have had to be on his personal income tax returns. And then the auditor stated that the county does not have adequate internal control of procedures to ensure all assets and property are tracked and insured. They did this referencing a 2013 Mack truck, which could not be found or located anywhere, and it was after interviewing the county's management that the auditor determined the truck was missing. No fiscal court records made they could find mention the missing truck, or that Judge Hardin had reported the truck to be missing to the state police. The county's fixed assets records list the truck as having a value of $35,000, but that's the only place any reference to the vehicle can be found. There was no evidence of the truck having been insured by the county. Had the truck been insured as required, the county could have recovered the lost amount of the $35,000 if something had indeed happened to it. The state auditor is referring the matter of the missing truck to the Kentucky State Police and the Office of the Attorney General for further investigation. In response to this particular part of the audit, the judge executive gave a brief response saying unable to comment due to an ongoing investigation. I can tell you, however, that is the same Mack truck believed to have been referenced to in testimony from Scotty McCarty given to the FBI, one of the only 2 or 3 possibly segments of his testimony which was blacked out from public view. It mentions the Mack truck and then goes black. You may also recall several months ago when we had some knowledge referencing the truck and the situation that we were expecting the truck to be referenced in the audit as well as the upcoming investigation, which it appears as though both officially now have. It is possible that the truck will be a focal point of the trial, which starts tomorrow. We know that it has been investigated. It is also believed to have been destroyed at some point after, according to McCarty, being used to haul illegal gravel to driveways in Magoffin County prior to the election for votes. I'm also told by sources on condition of anonymity that there is the possibility that the Mack truck will be brought up at a later occasion following the possibility of more indictments to be returned after the conclusion of this week's trial. We'll be right back. More news and information after this. Hey everybody, you just have to look at these faces and check out our pets of the week. This gorgeous little girl is Emily. She's a kitten and the only one left from her litter, so she's hoping, and so is everyone at the animal shelter, that she can find a family of her own, just like her brother and sisters have already done. She's super playful, very entertaining, and this guy is Stan. He's a medium-sized dog that would be great for either an indoor or outdoor pet. He's very well behaved, does great on a leash, super smart, and will be very easy to train. If you'd like to give them a forever home or to learn more about how to adopt, donate, or volunteer to walk, pet, or even transport an animal to the vet or to their new home, call Whiskers or Wags, the Johnson County Animal Shelter at 297-PETS.
A man was killed. 2 people were seriously injured, one including his passenger on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle after they were involved in a serious 2-car collision in Morgan County over the course of the weekend.
The fatality, the result of a head-on collision on Kentucky Route 7 in Morgan County on Saturday afternoon. Seen here, Mr. Thomas Tufts and, from what I understand, his fiancée. Kentucky State Police say that another individual, 42-year-old Teresa Haney from Olive Hill, was traveling northbound in her 03 GMC Envoy SUV when she crossed the center line and then crashed head-on into the southbound motorcycle operated by Tufts, who was 46 and from Flemingsburg. His passenger, 46-year-old Janet Caskey of Clearfield, was riding as a passenger with Tufts, was last reported to be in critical condition. Both were ejected from the motorcycle. The Morgan County Coroner's Office pronounced Tufts dead at the scene. Meanwhile, the two females were airlifted to the St. Mary's Medical Center in Huntington, where both, I believe, are actually listed in critical condition. His Facebook page, that being that of Mr. Tufts, lists him as the owner of Blue Bank Auto Body, also an employee of the Round County Board of Education, and had posted just days ago recent motorcycle trips that he and apparently his fiancée had taken just on a few weeks prior, 2 weeks ago or so. And he declared on his social media that she said yes to his engagement proposal.
I've got some birthdays on your community calendar. I've been so busy taking and making notes all day today that I don't have your calendar typed in, but a few that I just quickly want to pass along in brief tonight. Don't forget the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church is having their summer bass tournament. That's this coming Saturday beginning at 6 p.m. on the On-Cave Run at the Alfrey Boat Ramp. First place is always a grand, other big cash prizes. It's a big tournament. They have a big turnout, and it's just a great deal of fun. That's Saturday. Also, from the graduating class of 1986 for the Magoffin County High School, your 30th is coming up. It's set for this September the 3rd, 7 o'clock at the Saggers Renaissance Program. I've got a number there to call if you need to find out more. I'll get it on the screen in a few days. This one is very important. Magoffin County School System, they've sent out a one call, but they've asked me to pass it along as well. The Harold Whitaker Middle School's open house has been postponed until Wednesday, this Wednesday, 4 to 6. And we've been giving as much time as allowed for Principal Johnson and everyone to get settled in. And even though they've been at the high school, they're now there by themselves. And, of course, a great deal of adjustments. And we're anxious to see how well that is going. That's a story coming up in coming days here on Your News Today. Oh, and one last one. My apologies. This came in late Friday and too late to get on. A missing dog that goes by the name of Lucky is a male lab mix, yellow and white in color. He's wearing a green collar, and he went missing in the Evanston area of Route 542. If anyone has seen this lost pet, 884-8409. You can call me if you see the dog later, need that phone number, we'll pass it along, and I'll have that on the calendar on tomorrow night. A few birthdays will round out special announcements tonight.
The brothers and sisters of the Keith Memorial Tabernacle Church send birthday wishes to their beloved pastor, Escanova Jackson. And Escanova, from all the staff and management, Lee's Famous Recipe, and everyone here at the newsroom, we'd like to chime in too. Happy birthday, Escanova Jackson. I'm not done. Got a bunch of birthdays for all week long. Tonight, though, a happy birthday wish to Lily Salyer. Love Papa Terry and Jackie. Happy birthday today to Lily Salyer. And I think, looking down the list, I've got one more, and I do. This one is a happy birthday wish that goes out tonight on August 8th to Betty Minix from a whole lot of family and friends. Happy birthday, one and all. Now, per your Licking Valley RECC forecast, oh, don't look too close. I've already got a spell check problem there. No, that's a spell incorrect problem or not check problem. Nevertheless, hey, it's Monday. There's some showers way down to our south along the Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia borders. Nothing making their way into eastern Kentucky at this hour. And as far as the overnight is concerned, I think we're just going to see mostly cloudy skies. And in fact, the most recent update that I have in front of me takes that 10% chance of some scattered showers out of the forecast for tonight. So don't see any more. The low's right around 69, 70 degrees, maybe a light east-southeast wind for the rest of your Monday. As for Tuesday, some isolated showers, I think, to the tune of 40% between 11 and noon, then scattered possible thereafter. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. Daytime highs should hit 87, maybe 88 degrees. Lows tomorrow night close to the 70-degree threshold with still a 20% chance of some showers lingering. We're going to have this chance of showers and thunderstorms just throughout the week. This pattern is not going to go anywhere this time anytime soon. As for Wednesday, I'm thinking showers and thunderstorms are possible to the tune of 40%, mainly before 8, and a slight chance thereafter they should start to wane as Wednesday goes on, and we should see a little sun midweek as well, with 87 still and low 70s still set for your highs and lows. There's definitely some back and forth with the clouds and the suns. We'll go from cloudy Tuesday, sunny, at least partly Wednesday, back to mostly cloudy on your Thursday. We'll see 86 degrees, I think, on your Thursday as well. Can't shake a 30 to maybe 40% chance of showers, maybe even 50 by Thursday night. That's going into Friday, where we've got the sun making a partial return, still mid, close to upper 80s, 86 and 70s for your high and low. And I think an increased chance of some showers by Friday night. Saturday, for the weekend, so ever far away, temperatures mid-80s, nighttime lows right around 70, mostly cloudy, and you're looking at it, 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, and mostly cloudy, and a 50% threat on your Sunday as well. No bright, shining moment as far as your forecast is concerned. A few days where we won't have as many clouds as sun, but for the most part, it's going to be back and forth, and the weather pattern will continue to stay as it is for the next several days.
And that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Like I said, we already have one report at least working on for tomorrow, a very special report as well that I'm looking forward to bringing you this week, and then coverage will start tomorrow of the happenings that take place in the federal courthouse in London right here on Your News Today. We'll see you then.